Welcome to the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce News and Views Show. I'm your host, Diane Sawyer, President and CEO of the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce. Today's guest I have with me, we have a Meet the Board Member edition, and it's Ben Furstenberg with Fursty's Pizza. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I'm excited. I am always happy to put out our young entrepreneurs and board members who haven't been with us very long. I love doing the Meet the Board Member edition because we always get to hear about stuff. So tell us a little bit about you and your family and kind of how long you've been here and where you went to school and kind of where we are today.
Gotcha. Local to Rockingham County, born and raised over in the Madison-Medina area. McMichael graduate, went to Raleigh, to NC State. Thought I'd never come back. I love the Raleigh area. After a little over 10 years down there, we ended up back in Reidsville. I was home working the restaurant summers and weekends and stuff, and that's where I met Sydney. She ended up coming to the Raleigh area, my wife. Went through college there and then dental school at Chapel Hill. We don't hold that against her.
Hey now.
We ended up back in Reidsville. It feels like a few months, but it's been a few years now. Always stayed around the business. Never thought I was really going to end up doing it full-time, long-term for real. But the opportunity presented itself and the timing was right. She got a great offer over in Madison. So we're here in Reidsville now. It's been about 4 years, maybe a little longer. And then my brother and I purchased Fursty's from Dad a little over 2 years ago now.
We've crossed the 2 year mark.
Flying by. It's
flies
crazy how fast.
Fun,
yeah,
right?
there's been a lot of changes in the last 4 years for me. So we have 2 kids. Calvin's 2.5. Ellie is 7 months. And I don't know how that time has flown by. So between owning a business and for a while there, we had 2 under 2. My hands are full.
Yep.
So we're
running
wide open.
It's a wild, crazy life we live lately.
It's flying by the seat of your pants sometimes, but it's fun.
Just wait until you're in the summer going, I have a rising high school, I have a rising freshman, and I have a rising middle school, and like I'm losing it like 14 years.
Oh yeah.
And it's gone. So yeah. I totally get that. And when you're so immersed in the community, there's so much to be said. So, but we all thought that, right? We all thought, oh, we're gonna leave, we're gonna go do all these things, and so I just love y'all's story. I love how sweet your family is. Your larger family, like I've known lots of them for a while. I know that your brother also married one of my fellow classmates and from across the river, and
Yep.
We'll leave it at that. But yeah, we're both from Eden. So like and her first cousin and I were great friends for a long time, and she's come back to the area. So it's funny because like we've all like kind of gone away, come back, done a lot of different things. But I love the Young Entrepreneur Network. I guess I can still call myself that. I'm kind of middle-aged at this point, but the Young Entrepreneur Network that we're building, and I think that you're doing such a great job. Like your dad built one heck of a business for real.
He did. It's a staple. Michael and I knew that going into it. There's a lot of things we wanted to change. There's a lot of things we were not interested in touching at all. It wasn't broken, so we weren't trying to fix it.
Absolutely.
We were just trying to update it a little bit.
Bring it to 2025 in the digital world, right?
That's right.
That's
yeah.
about all it needed.
Things.
Because the recipes are
Yeah, the
on
recipes
point,
aren't changing.
and none of that's changing.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is not changing. The buffet's not changing.
Not at all.
Don't fix what's not broken. Is
Exactly.
absolutely on point with that.
Yeah. Things are a little different than they were in 1979.
Sure. Absolutely. Well,
Cell phones weren't a thing.
Well, the world is different, right? And the world's different for restaurants. Like, so it's funny that you say that. I have a very similar. When I came to this job, I cannot believe it's been 15 years, almost to the day now. And there were things I wanted to do, but there were things that weren't broken that I thought, let's build on. Chamber Champs is one of those. My predecessor introduced that program, and I've done nothing but just enhance and build on that. But there were other things that I thought, again, not changing, just introducing. And it's hard when you're the new kid on the block, even though you were family. I know your dad was still watching, like, what are they going to do with it? Have I made the right decision? And that's a lot of pressure. And I think you have handled it so gracefully. And so just for someone who is a second generation, like, you have been like the prime example. Like, if I were to textbook say this is how to take over a family business, especially a restaurant, and in my 15 years, like, the restaurants have changed so much. And as a family person, and you're getting ready, you're not there yet, but you're going to see this. Like, for me, it's really hard having kids that are super active. You know, pre-COVID, you could about go anywhere after a game and get something to eat. Now, you finish your band concert, your game, your whatever, and you're like, where do we go eat? Because we don't have 24-hour Walmart anymore. We don't have restaurants that are open till 10, 11 o'clock anymore. Like, everything shuts down. Rightfully so, because you can't pay people to be there when there was no one coming in, and the business has changed. And I know you've changed your hours a little bit based on some of that too.
We have.
Talk to me about that.
We have. Years ago, pre-COVID, there were weekends, especially, we were open till 10, sometime, way back when we were open till 11.
Heck yeah.
There was business there to support those hours, so we weren't losing money by being open that late. Especially post-COVID, the late night stuff really dropped. Of course, getting through that, our hours changed completely, and
Sure.
there was no dining in there for a while. That was a whole new world. But coming out of that,
thankfully, y'all were in a business where takeout already made sense, and like you basically just like put that into overdrive.
And we had we call them our regulars. We had some regulars and some folks we didn't know were regulars that almost daily were picking up orders, and that support was, there's no words to describe that kind of support during that time. Mm-hmm. But coming out of that window, we had to really look at what made sense because things got really tight during and post-COVID.
Yeah.
And so the times that we weren't really making money, how long do you keep staying open through those hours if you're losing for a few hours? So we trimmed our hours back especially after Michael and I got into the business, to 11 to 9 every day except for Sunday. And Sunday we closed at 3. That made sense on a couple of levels. Sunday nights weren't really strong nights. I mean, we would catch one every now and then. But Michael and I both have small children, mm-hmm. And we're also a little bit control freaks, both of us. So we don't think it's running correctly if we're not there. Yeah, and that might have come from Dad. So Sunday afternoons or Sunday mornings, Michael and I usually are both in the restaurant. We get them through the rush of the after church crowd, and then we're either home with the kids or on the golf course, and then going over to Mom's house for dinner. It's a family night for us, where we don't have to worry what might happen, because something's always going to happen. You make a plan, and it's going to change. Uh-huh. So that has been a really good mental break for both of us, whether it's just sitting at home watching whatever's on TV, playing
football,
with the kids,
or whatever,
or hitting the golf course for a few hours, and then hanging out over at Mom's house. It has been a nice, just a couple hours a week. It's a good reset, going back into Monday and starting the week off again.
And I'm so proud of y'all for doing that, because it's so funny that you say that. So, and sometimes I get really personal on the show, and I think that's okay, and people are used to that. So, and I've talked to you about some of these things. I only have one sibling. He went off to NC State and never came home. And, he married his wife, who's also an NC State grad. And we just recently, they have a child. She's a COVID baby, and going to be, oh my gosh, she's going to be 5 this year. No, 4, right? Yes. I have to think about it.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I have to do my math, Diane. And 5. She's going to be 5. Yep. That's crazy. And so it's been that long since COVID. And so we were just this week having this discussion about being young, because she works for a big deal company in RGP.
Yep.
And my brother and I were discussing, he was like, she puts all this pressure on herself. She puts all this stress on herself. And he was like, where do you find the balance between being strong, career, mom or dad, and also being great, because they're both really great parents. And he was like, where do we find the balance? And I think it's starting to put boundaries on what people do. And people say it to me all the time. They're like, you work all the time. I'm like, I do, but I also leave when I need to, and I also take care of it. And like I've built that. Like my predecessors were men or older women who had already had their children, or didn't have children.
Right.
And so when I got pregnant, I was 12 weeks with a baby, and then got pregnant, and everybody goes, what do we do? And I'm like, what do you mean, what do we do? Like, I'm gonna have a baby, so we got to figure it out. And being able to find, and everybody, the work-life balance coin, but truly I don't think people had bought into it until COVID. And the Great Resignation, I think, came out of that. And as the chamber president, I'm still trying to pinpoint where the people are at night. Like, I still drive around and I'm like, it is like a ghost town at 9 o'clock. And I just think we started taking back family values and family time and cooking at home, or being at home earlier, or deciding that we were too busy.
Right.
I did the opposite. Like when things opened up, I went back, I think, too far the other way. But my kids are at the ages too. You know what I mean?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I think Fursty's, like, as a staple, has been the most beautiful. Like, if I had to pick an example of COVID, of somebody who was a long-standing business, somebody who went through it so well and then has seamlessly transitioned, like you guys are it. Like, you were a textbook, like, that's how you do it, folks. And I'm so proud of that, and I'm so honored, like, to say, like, it's in Reidsville, because you guys weren't always where you are.
That's right. Yep. And it's not that we had a magic potion or a rule book to get through it. We definitely we were figuring it out. We got a little bit lucky. But Dad started in '79 here in Reidsville, was the first location on Scale Street. We moved over to Ashcroft. We were there for a lot of years, and then he downsized them. And he had a lot of restaurants open at one time when I was young. I can remember leaving our house and coming down a dirt road to get to the Reidsville store. Then we had the one in Medan, one on Highcomb Road in Greensboro, and then some pickup and delivery stores. We're reaching way back in history there. So when Dad started downsizing them a little bit, and then the opportunity came up to come back to Reidsville in the same location, and that doesn't feel like it's been that long ago, but we're like 15, 16 years now.
I was going to say it's as long as I can remember. I'm like, I think it happened right before I think I took this job, because when I took the job, y'all were there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was like kind of newish at that point.
And he reopened it in that single parcel, the same as it was, and it didn't take us long to realize we needed a little more room. The space next to us was empty, so they blew a hole in the wall and made that second dining room. And things have just been rolling, a lot of support from the community. Still, and that's our only location, and things will change eventually, and maybe Michael and I are interested in doing additional locations. But right now, we're having a lot of fun.
You're like, it's
the
best you can do
That's
with the
right.
one right now. Well, when your babies are little too, like, and you owe it to them, because you don't get that time back.
That's right. Trying to open another location right now would just pull us out of the house a little bit more. But we have a lot of support out of Reidsville, but we have a lot of long-time customers from the Madison-Medan area that make the trip. They're still regulars, even though the drive's a little bit longer.
Some of my former employees and their whole families still do that.
I do get a lot of, when you coming back?
I bet so.
And
Well,
I do miss that. See, growing up, the Medan store was the one I spent the most time in. That was the closest one. My grandparents were over there, and they were our babysitters.
Where was that in Medan?
In the same center as the old Food Line. Food Line moved up the road a long time ago, and we were kind of tucked back in that corner.
That's right.
A little bit hidden, but still in a good little spot. So
I had a lot of family from Madison, and I didn't make it over there a lot when I was younger. I'm over there 3 days a week now, so I'm in that area a lot. But yeah, it's interesting how time has shaped so many of our businesses, and you guys have been around for such a long time, and it's really cool to see how you have transitioned. Well, let's talk about some of that. So you've made some changes. We talked about the hours, but you've done some other really cool things recently. Talk to us about that.
We have. We've added a little bit of technology. That's kind of a new thing for the company to embrace. Our register system is completely computerized I can be at home with the kids and know what's going on inside the restaurant. We work with Chris and put a nice camera system in so I can watch wherever I am, see what's going on. And then we also launched a new website and has an app component to it. That's something brand new. We had a website for a lot of years that gave our address and phone number. It had our menu on there, but that's about where it stopped. So we have online ordering now. We don't handle delivery, but you can get on the website or the app and it'll send your order to a DoorDash driver and pick it up. So that's new for us. Haven't really advertised it a lot, but it is taking off. We're seeing those numbers sometimes double week to week, just word of mouth and repeat customers, which is nice for us. You know, it is new. We're still figuring out. There's every now and then there's something we've never seen before and a kink to work out. We handle those when they pop up. Still learning, but that's a new thing for Fursties. But it's so far been very successful, and we're excited about it. So we're pushing that website a little bit more just because it is easy to use. And it's different from the typical phone ringing off the hook and call-in orders. And with the staffing the way it is, and we're starting to finally see some staff come back and more applications come in, but same thing coming out of that COVID window, it was very slim for a long time. And so where we may have had somebody dedicated to answering the phones, we just don't have those people all the time. So pushing some of those orders to printing out automatically from the website has helped us in that regard too.
You know, and thankfully, it's our family businesses that mostly did survive COVID because they were already family based, and the staffing thing. Like I was just thinking about, you know, we did that great gift card program where for our restaurants and our salons, and people could go on and buy gift cards to put money back into. So like we would mail those checks out to the restaurants and to the salons. And I was thinking about some of your regular customers, and you mentioned Reed. Like it's funny because I know he's a regular customer. I know they eat there regularly. And I think that the regular customers, the family owned businesses, like that's one of the only ways that some of our places survived. And you guys had to just figure it out and make it work. But it's interesting because now there's you and your brother, right?
Right.
Whereas it was just your dad before, and your mom. Your mom was like the backbone of all of that.
Yeah, Dad ran the business. Mom kept the business running.
Yeah, I agree.
She was the salad bar was Mom's baby for a lot of years, and we've done everything we can to keep it exactly the way she did it. She was in the store a lot.
Oh yeah.
And Dad was in the store all the time. But when Mom was out of the store, then she was in the office at the house. So she worked as many, if not more, hours than Dad. But not all of hers were in the store. And so keeping those things the same.
Yeah.
And trying to push some of the new stuff.
Well, but now you've got two families, right? And even though your wives aren't necessarily involved that much, but like it's kind of cool that it's the two of you running it together, and you have your own, like y'all kind of have your own identities and personalities too, right? Like
Very
you
much
were
so.
much more to the face and the talker and the public, you know. And your brother has been kind of like your partner in this, and it's been awesome to see
Absolutely.
you guys working together.
I can remember. There's one night I can remember very vividly, and we had gone out to eat. I think we were in Eden eating dinner, and one of the pieces of equipment broke down, and immediately we stopped eating. Everything was in a to-go box. Get in the car. We got to go back to the store. With Michael and I both in it, and we alternate our schedules for the most part. There's nights of the week where he's there, and I don't really worry about what's going on. I don't mind going out. We can go to Greensboro. We can go out to eat. I can go ahead and put my pajamas on, whatever it takes. I'm not worried about having to go back. So it takes a little pressure off of me, a little pressure off of him in the same regards. And we are different. I can honestly say I'd a whole lot rather have Michael run in the kitchen than me. He's better at it.
He's been doing that for a long time.
For a long time, yeah, absolutely. If we're gonna, Sunday morning, you want Michael on the ovens, he's gonna do a better job than I'm gonna do. Now the payroll and the QuickBooks and the website and the making the schedule and that kind of stuff, I do better at that. I am in the store working it a little more than Michael, but the way we have kind of zigzagged our schedules and bounced off each other has been it's just different from the way we knew it growing up.
Absolutely. We all make quite the dynamic duo. I think it's almost just perfect. Like y'all both have kind of differences in your mom and your dad in you.
Yeah.
And it's put together differently. And so then you guys put together makes a really awesome team. So
It has been easier for sure.
Yeah.
Michael is a good crutch, and I hope I'm the same for him.
Yeah. He's great in the background. I think probably in the entire time I've known him, I don't know that he's spoken 100 words to me because he's so quiet and he is very reserved and very, laid back and just kind of like, but it's funny because I've not known you nearly as long, but we've probably already talked way more than that ever be. But it's like, it really is just like the perfect fit. And you're such a great example of a family restaurant. I can't tell you how many times we've had a birthday party, come to a birthday party, all these little like father-daughter dances and stuff. And we're like, well, it just makes sense to go to Fursty's because like we can come in, we can get the buffet, we can sit in the big room, and like a bunch of us can come together, and we don't worry about having food, getting food, being on time. It's just I would be so sad, and oh my gosh, my kids would be too, because they get real mad on nights when they're like, can we go eat Fursty's buffet? And I'm like, that's not open tonight. Like, the buffet's not open tonight. So it's just cute. And, kids love pizza. So.
Absolutely. Well, and folks have always, my whole life, don't you get tired of eating pizza? I haven't yet. We have more than that on the menu, and I switch it up. But I could eat pizza every day. So.
That's funny. I feel that way too about a lot of stuff. But my favorite, if I had to pick something like in your restaurant that I could eat every day, it would be cheese sticks and cinnamon sticks. Yeah. Like and I'm one of those, like it doesn't matter where I'm eating pizza from. Like I want the cheese on the bread. Like I don't want cheese pizza because it's just not the same. I want a cheese stick, or cheese bread. Like I love it. So, but you guys have some really cool things happening. You've brought it to DoorDash and you brought it to ordering online and all the ways. And I just think that you guys have some really great futures ahead of both of you. I know it's not what you thought you'd be doing, but we're super appreciative of it because we knew your dad at some point would finally be like, okay, he didn't want to, but
he said he did. But he wasn't really sure.
He wasn't really sure.
Yep.
But there comes a time when it's time to like enjoy. Like he needs to be on the golf course somewhere.
Right. And it is, growing up, I always enjoyed it. When I was in high school, I loved working there. Even when I went off to college, coming home on the summers and weekends was always fun. I went through NC State. I was going to be a teacher starting out and teach AutoCAD and wood shop. I didn't really know what I was going to do.
I didn't know that.
And that is what I thought I wanted to do. And then I started student teaching a little bit and realized it wasn't exactly for me. I kept the technical part and just dropped the licensure part. Got out, got a job in commercial construction. It paid the bills. My wife was in dental school. Things were okay, but I didn't love what I was doing. We were having a lot of fun. But still didn't love what I was doing. So to own a business, it took quite a pay cut, but I'm doing something I do enjoy. We try to do the best we can every day. It is a whole different world working for yourself, not for somebody else.
It really is, and it makes a difference. People ask me all the time, they're like, well, what do you think you'll do? I'm like, I'm not going to do anything. I mean, I may add something at some point, and it's, obviously at some point I'll retire later in life, but I really don't see myself doing anything else. I love this job. I love this community. I love what we're doing right now. Like, this is one of my favorite things I do every month. And, so let's talk a little bit about that. Like, you came out of nowhere to be the new owners and to be chamber champs and to be on the board, and you just got super involved. Like, talk to me about kind of like the thought process and how that all kind of happened.
So the company, Fursty's was a chamber member for a lot of years. Same thing, going back to the COVID window, we started cutting a lot of things, anything extra. We, not in a panic, but in a smart business decision. Anything we didn't have to spend money on, we had to cut those costs out. Coming out of that, and Dad, he did know he wasn't going to do it until he was 90. Now, he may still be working when he's 90, but he was kind of reluctant to get back into some of those things. And so when Michael and I got into it, we wanted to jump back in. We've always been involved in the community between yearbook ads and sponsoring ball teams and different ads and promotions. But we wanted to go ahead and take that step and get back into the chamber, and then it just worked out. I was kind of voluntold by Michael I was up for a board position. That worked out great. So we said, well, let's jump on the champs board. If we're going to go in, we're going to go all in.
I love it.
And it's been great.
Y'all are competitive too.
So
that's where that comes from, I think. We're going all in.
Absolutely.
We're going to put it all the eggs in the basket. We're going for it.
If we're going to do it, we might as well do it. So that's kind of how we got back in with the chamber and more involved than we ever were previously.
Yeah.
But it's been great, man. It's good advertising. It makes sense. It's dollars well spent, and it puts us out into the community a little bit more. And that's always beneficial.
I'm excited for that. And you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't say this in the last couple of minutes. It's not just to meet the board member. It was to meet the chamber champ. And I don't know why I didn't say that, because in my brain I was thinking about it, but it just launched. Yep. July 1, it went live. And so now you are on the emails and you're on the sign, and we're real excited about that. So can't wait to see you on the golf course. And we're going to have some Fursty pizza for dinner. And I think it's awesome. So we're excited for y'all. I know that there are a lot of ways that restaurants can just be in their silo and have their blinders on and do their thing. So I really commend y'all for being open to, like you said, you're just going all in. And your families, oh my gosh, so precious. The kids are precious. But y'all have been just, I don't want to say it's just different. It's just different from what it was. Like you come in and it's been a long time since you guys were little, I should say. And I obviously wouldn't really remember that. But coming in and having little kids, occasionally, it's the cutest thing. I love it.
It's funny. So even not running the restaurant, we've been around it, been in it, not full time, and then full time and working it. And there's so many customers we see that it used to be grandma dragging the kids down the hall. Now it's the kids dragging grandma down the hall. And to see those people still coming in, and I think, man, they've changed, and not realizing that we're on the other side of the counter and we've changed too. Things have changed a lot. And when you sit back and start counting the years, it makes you feel old. But it's been nice to be consistent and have us still in the store and have the customers still in the store. Same ones. We all look a little bit different over the years, though.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited with all your all in. I mean, even your wife jumped on board.
Yep.
Her business is a member, and we're excited to have her. And I just think, and she's got all kinds of ties to Reidsville too. And
it's funny. So she grew up in Reidsville.
Yep.
I grew up in Madison, Medan area. She works over in Madison, Medan, and now I'm over here. So we just kind of switch sides.
One big county happy family.
Right.
We love it. Well, and people don't know a lot of that about me too. I'm like, well, I graduated from Moorhead, but I commuted to UNC Greensboro. I was in the Junior Service League on the western side, so I know all those girls that you went to school with, and some of the, some of the younger ones. But then also, like, my husband's from Bethany in the Stokesdale area, and then now I work in Reidsville. So, and my mama worked at the hospital for over 30 years. So people love the fact that I'm open to all things Rockingham County. I want to see the whole county thrive, and what's good for one is good for the other. I'll never forget, like when Ruger came and I went to that grand opening, and people are like, well, you're from Reidsville. I'm like, yeah, and so this is still great for the whole county. Like when the county wins, we win. And whether that, and I hope you guys never ever leave where you are. I just hope you add to if you end up finding yourselves in other places of the county. But we're excited. We're excited to have y'all. Fursty's is it's a household name. And it was funny. Somebody said the other day, I don't know why it came up, but we might have been going through board members or talking about who was on the committee, and somebody went, oh, that's where the name came from. And I was like, yeah. Like that, and they were like, I really did not know that. And I was like, well, now you do. And now you can like think about it when you, but
it originated as my grandfather's golf course nickname. And he helped Dad start the restaurant, so they used his nickname. They called him Fursty. everybody's always called Dad Fursty, and now I've got folks coming in calling me Fursty. Of course, took the step and put it on my license plate too. But so then it's funny, if we're out on a golf course and somebody yells, "Hey Fursty,"
you don't know who they're talking to.
It's either one or all of us, because we all get called that now.
That's funny. And I'm just going to tie it up with this. Golf course nicknames are where it's at. My brother has a name that somebody started calling him on the golf course that like has not gone away. And I'm just like, and he has about, no kidding, 50 names. He's one of those people that they've nicknamed him everything under the sun, and everybody calls him something different. But they can yell that golf course nickname, and it's like, you know who they're talking to.
Yep.
So I love to see people win, and I love to see people win in personal life and business life. And I know that it's a struggle. I know that it's hard work, and I know that you guys are juggling all the pizzas, all the pies in the air.
Yeah.
Literally and physically both, but you're doing a great job.
We appreciate it.
And we're proud to have you, and we're excited about the future and what you guys are going to do.
Yeah, thank you. We're happy to be here, happy to be part of the community, and still looking forward to taking a new step and growing however we can. Awesome.
Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Well, that is it for today's show. As always, you can find us at 140 South Scale Street in the heart of downtown Reidsville, at reidsvillechamber.org, and all of our social media channels. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.